Most of you probably know Pompeii only for one thing, a volcanic eruption and people turning into stone. However, this information is just the visible, well-known tip of the iceberg. When you examine what actually happened in the city, how people ended up in this state, why a mother and her child ended up like this while playing, and how they were found, you will be truly shocked. You need to know why they were punished so severely. In a moment, we will take a look at what remains of the city of Pompeii. We will witness the city's final state and shed light on what happened there. The date was October 23, AD 79, exactly one day before the disaster. Pompeii was an ancient city in Italy and one of the greatest factors in the transformation of the Roman Empire. It was once a place where the wealthiest people in the world lived, a land of legendary structures and masterpieces, home to the most beautiful women of the region, and a city where gladiators frequently displayed their strength in the arena. It was a place where prosperity and abundance were at their peak. If you look at the city from above, you can see that it resembles a large fish. The city was deliberately designed this way because Pompeii was a port city. The amphitheater was located on the right side, where it looks like the eye of the fish. This was because the amphitheater was a place where gladiators fought and entertained the public and the wealthy in full view of everyone. The losing gladiators were fed to wild animals. Therefore, the gladiators' futures depended entirely on themselves. Not only the warriors but sometimes the animals were also killed, because at times fighters clashed with these animals purely for entertainment, simply to create new thrills. Who knows how many stories were lived there. Let us move on to daily life in the city. This street scene in the image was where merchants operated, and thousands of people from all social classes passed through it repeatedly with horse-drawn carts. That is why grooves formed in the stone streets. Because so many people passed through here, the streets became polluted with horse manure, various types of garbage, and other waste. Sometimes they also filled with rainwater, which caused some people to avoid using them. For this reason, stepping stones were built. These stones were designed in such a way that they would not obstruct carts while allowing pedestrians to cross without stepping on filth or getting wet from rainwater. You can find such stepping stones in almost no other ancient city. This also leads us to the idea that street cleanliness was not given much importance in the city. In many parts of the city, you will see hollowed-out stones. These cavities were used to light fires so that food placed inside could remain warm after being served. It is known that some restaurants still exist today in a form very close to their original appearance. The containers found inside these establishments are nearly 2,000 years old. There are many frescoes throughout the city, wall paintings. From these drawings, it is understood that nudity and sexuality were considered very ordinary and normal. In fact, some wealthy individuals had sexual decorations placed in every bedroom of their homes, which often had multiple bedrooms. We cannot know for sure, perhaps they even had their own images depicted. The place seen here is the city's brothel. While many parts of the city have fallen into ruin, this place seems to stand upright as if deliberately preserved for people to see in later times, perhaps as a warning. Because this place reveals everything about life in the city. What distinguishes it from others is that men were also able to have relations with members of the same sex, and this situation spread throughout the city. Even the hearts of those living in the city were filled with evil. We can give an example of this. What you see here is a cursed tablet. These lead tablets were written for people who were hated, angered, or wished ill upon. People even placed them in others' homes or graves, just like black magic. The inscription reads: Philomathian, the slave of Postinius. I sacrifice your body, your internal organs, the breath you take, and your name to the gods of the underworld. May they hate each other mutually. May his testicles be of no use. This is an inscription filled with pure hatred. Historical records describe the city's state before its destruction as complete perversion, rudeness, and immorality. Due to wealth and abundance, the people had become excessively spoiled. Near the city stood a volcanic mountain, Mount Vesuvius. This volcanic mountain would be their end. There was no time left for them to recover or change. The date was October 24, AD 79, at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just hours before the eruption, people woke up to another day, but this would be their last. Hours later, the volcano began to stir. Powerful yet short-lived earthquakes started occurring. Research has confirmed this. For example, in one of the city's bakeries, stones were used to prepare dough mixtures. Examinations revealed traces of lime mortar, which was typically used to seal wall cracks. Repair marks were also found on the walls of the same bakery. Because there had been many large and small earthquakes in recent years, people had become accustomed to them. Until that day, tremors would start and then stop. But that day was not like the others. Around 1 p.m., Mount Vesuvius began erupting with its full force, with a power greater than that of an atomic bomb. Within a very short time, the city of Pompeii was covered with solidified lava fragments, ash, gas, and clouds of dust. The majority of the people lost their lives without even being able to breathe, due to what is known as a pyroclastic flow. The remaining people died by being crushed under collapsing buildings or burned as a result of the volcanic eruptions. 15 minutes after the eruption, nothing remained of the city. Not a single trace of its former brilliance was left. The luxurious homes of the wealthy, their slaves, sounds of entertainment, children running through the streets, people making plans for the next day, everyone disappeared within 15 minutes. Centuries later, images show the city's rediscovery. A clay-like layer completely covered the city, remarkably intact. Incredible masterpieces crafted with extraordinary skill were found underground. Excavations revealed that the city could only be uncovered by digging several meters deep. This 3D image attempts to show what the city once looked like. Several questions arose. Why did these people appear as if nothing had happened at the moment of their death? How did they freeze instantly in their exact positions? Were they really found like this during excavations? The eruption hurled thousands of stones of various sizes into the air, and due to these impacts and tremors, almost all roofs collapsed. From the city's final state, this is very clear. It is estimated that people who died in their homes or on the streets were covered in mud-like volcanic ash within 10 minutes. And they remained that way for exactly 1,669 years. As population growth caused cities to expand, the area was reached unintentionally and Pompeii was discovered. The ground was soft and easy to excavate. Excavations began, and historical structures were discovered. Archaeologists were called in. At first, they were only aware of the city itself. But as excavations continued, skeletons began to appear. The mud-like ash from the volcano preserved people's facial features and body shapes exactly as they were. To preserve these findings, the areas where bodies were found were protected. Over time, the internal organs and skin of the bodies disappeared. Holes were then made in various parts of the ash layers, and liquid plaster was poured inside. Once hardened, they took the forms we recognize today. Truth is that these people did not turn into stone at the time. They were simply covered in ash and remained that way until today. Let us return to the earlier question: why did these people look as if nothing was happening when they died? As mentioned before, an explosion far more powerful than an atomic bomb occurred. People should have been running around in fear and panic, but they appeared completely still. In the photo example, a mother and most likely a father are holding hands with their child, looking as if they were playing a game. The child's hands were damaged over time after the eruption. The person standing in the corner may have been attending to another child. Some people were sleeping and never had the chance to wake up and witness what was happening. In recent excavations, another body was uncovered, an image showing that during the eruption, a rock possibly heavier than the person himself fell onto his head while he was outside, perhaps searching for an escape route. What must be understood is that this is not merely a story or a video to be casually watched and forgotten. These people, covered in ash and waiting for centuries to be found, emerged so that future generations, including us, might take a lesson. They are not just structures you see in a museum. They are survivors of a great disaster, or more accurately, the living dead. Before you go, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. See you in the next video.